Coach, talk a little bit about our wrestling team, a little bit about, sort of what goes into wrestling, what we're trying to build at Westminster Christian, and kind of what our expectations are for this season.
Yeah, thanks. So Dan Robinson, it's my third year. Coming in my third year as head coach for Westminster Wrestling for both middle school, JV, and varsity. Coming off a pretty good year last year. We've been growing at about anywhere between 4 to 5 wrestlers per year. Last year had a really good year with a bunch of the 8th graders that you see here, as well as the upper class. Had a senior that made it to and earn a well-coveted national All-American spot, and then earned a scholarship, and now is wrestling in D1 up in Citadel. So had a good year from that. We had a lot of guys that came out, and then just year after year, it's gotten better and better and better. And so this year, we're excited. I think we've grown the team now to about 16 or 17 non-wrestlers. And so that'll be a good testament to see how we do in terms of stacking up with other teams and just really kind of growing the sport of wrestling for Westminster. And then obviously leading the charge is going to be Evan as a senior, and so expect big things out of Evan and the upper class. Really, the thing about wrestling is you gotta love it, because the practices can sometimes be a grind. But Dan Cagle, one of the most winningest coaches in wrestling and in collegiate wrestling, said it: if you've wrestled, everything in life is easy. And so I think the testament that these guys have, the coaches that are here in this room, we have a lot of really experienced and hard and tested coaches that have wrestled at high levels. Either in college or in an international circuit, that can add a lot of value to both just in the wrestling room as well as off the wrestling room, and coaching, teaching, and mentoring these fine young men to just kind of take on life and attack life. So we're excited. We're excited about. We have a youth program that's starting up at a new facility on Nick Fitchard Road. And so we're kind of partnering with Alabama Takedown Academy for the youth that are in here. So 6th graders that are not all part of a team yet. We have that, and my intent is to kind of start the feeder program so that the feeder program can lead into the middle school, JV, and high school. And again, wrestling has shown that the guys that have wrestled now that are playing football or going into track or going into other sports are better athletes because of wrestling. So I'll shut up, and then I'll let these guys more important talk. But we're appreciative, and we're excited for this season.
Good deal. All right, so guys, take the mic. Tell us your name, what grade you're in, and tell us what weight that you're wrestling at, and just talk a little bit about what some of your personal goals are. That if you meet those goals, it's going to help the team.
Hey, I'm Charlie Billings. I'm a junior in high school. This is my 5th year wrestling, 3rd year under Coach Dan. And I'm probably my personal goal. I'll probably qualify for state. I've getting pretty close over 4 years, and I put in a lot of work. But I'm just kind of excited. I feel like for me, wrestling's it teaches you how to work. I feel like it's the biggest thing. It's like a lot of times in life, like when you have a job and everything, you're gonna have to learn to work. You got to get up when it's hard, when you don't want to do stuff. You're gonna have to get up. You're gonna have to work. And I feel like wrestling kind of simplifies that. The best, because a lot of times you just don't want to do it, but you got to, you got to put in the work and sweat and everything. So I feel like wrestling just kind of prepares you for life, and so I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to have some of these guys out here, a couple of new guys coming in too. I'm excited to wrestle around with, and it's going to be a good year. I'm excited.
I'm Taylor Fowler. I'm a junior here at Westminster, and I've been wrestling since middle school, 7th grade. Yeah, I would just say wrestling has been really beneficial for me as a person growing up. Like, you really take away a lot from it, but the main thing is how to work hard. And I believe at the end of the day, wrestling is the sport that will teach you a lot about who you are as a person, because it's just you out there on the mat. And what's more is you're going to learn defeat, you're going to learn losses. but you're also going to learn how to handle losses, how you're going to handle victories, and I feel that's really important for growing up and maturing into the person God's calling you to be. So yeah, I would, for anyone who's like wanting or thinking about wrestling, I highly encourage you to do it. It's a really tough but fun sport, and yeah, you really gotta love it.
What was your weight class? What do you weigh?
Oh, sorry, my weight class is 170 this year.
My name is McClure. I'm a senior. This is my second year wrestling, and I wrestle at the 170 weight class as well. What I love about the sport is just like, I mean, you're gonna lose. Like everybody loses, unless you're like literally everybody loses. And it kind of just like teaches you to embrace the loss, and like you have nobody else to blame besides yourself, which is like really special in this sport. Because in every other sport, you know, you can blame somebody else, but like in this sport, it's just you and the person you're wrestling. And so if you lose, it's on you, and if you win, it's on you. Like, so you always gotta learn to trust yourself and believe in yourself.
All right, so I want to ask each one of you to talk about one match that you can remember that maybe you were down a little bit and you dug a little bit deep and you were able to get the win. Just talk a little bit think about one match maybe where you knew you was down and you had to do what you had to do, but you got the dub.
So I believe it was my freshman year. We were at James Fleming's, and I remember this tournament because I remember like being really down on myself. Like practice was hard that week, school was hard, I had a lot going on. It just felt like the odds were against me, but I went into that tournament with an attitude that I was going to give it my all. Just be it all. And at the end of the day, like even though I won a few matches last week, I think that works for me. At the end of the day, I walked away knowing that I did my best, I finished up the week strong, and yeah, I think that's important.
I had one tournament that I wrestled last year, and I faced this dude. He was 14th in the state of Florida, and it was a super close, super tough match. In fact, he got me on my back for a couple seconds, and got a couple back points. I think the final score was 15-13, and so super close, super back and forth. Had to do reversals and just. It was really tough, but I was thinking, I was like, man, I do not want to wrestle this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, like you said, just dig and beat, keep on fighting, and came down the last couple of seconds, got taken down and got the win.
Off the top of my head, I can't really remember a match where I came back and won. I've only been wrestling for a season. But the last match of last season, I remember this dude was really good. I mean, I was losing the entire match, but I made it all 3 rounds. And even though I still lost, I made it the entire way without getting pinned. I was like a personal victory.
Good deal. All right, so I know you guys play other sports. Talk a little bit about how wrestling maybe helps you in other sports, because talking to Coach Robinson before we got up here, was talking about how that wrestling is so hard. It takes a lot of just intensity, but it takes a lot of physical effort. You just talk a little bit about how that training maybe helps you in maybe some of the other sports that you play.
I think wrestling helps in every sport. I mean, it helps with football because you learn to feel people's weight, how they're moving, and feel the momentum better. And then when they track and all that, you're just in better shape you'll ever be in your entire life. You're gonna be able to run more than you ever before.
For me, physically and mentally, physically-wise, wrestling is going to put you in the best shape of your life. So when you're out there, when you're out there playing football, then you really know that you work hard in the wrestling season, so you can go out there and give it your all on the field. And mentally, knowing, for me, knowing that I've done something as hard as wrestling and then going out in the field means I can do it basically anything and give it my all. So
specifically with football, and I play football too, and I feel like it helps a ton with just kind of getting low and being able to kind of tackle and be able to kind of get your hands inside when you're blocking or getting off blocks, or just kind of in general. There's a lot of stuff you do in football that you have to do in wrestling as well. But I feel like just overall, like I mentioned earlier, wrestling teaches you how to work. And there's no other sport that I played that conditions quite like wrestling. And honestly, like all the other sports I played, whether it be football, track, baseball, basketball, whatever I've done, it doesn't compare to wrestling. I'm like, oh, this stuff's easy compared to wrestling, you know? And so, like I said, teaching to work, you go into the best shape of your life when you wrestle. No, we don't condition anywhere else like we do in wrestling. And it's just, it prepares you for everything. I mean, it helps with any sport you play. Even if you're like, oh, you know, it won't help in my sport. I promise you it does. It helps with every single sport you play.
All right, so Coach, tell us, when's the first match, and what are we looking at this year? I know we want to get as many guys to go to state as possible, but when do we start?
Yeah, so the first match is going to be 15 November, and then it'll go all the way till the middle of February. And so the states will be at the Von Braun Center in the middle of Feb. So I had a lot of guys that were close to making the states last year, just kind of fell short a little bit. Sectionals is a hard day. We started wrestling, and we weighed in about 6:30, and I think Rafe and Luke were the last ones wrestling that night, and I think they wrestled at 10:30 that night. I remember Doc Billings smuggled a bunch of pizzas and stuff into the CrossFlex because everybody was starving. I felt like I was back in senior school again. But the important thing is we're going to have the sectionals. We're going to host the sectionals at the end of the season at Westminster Christian Academy at the gym. So I'm trying to entice a lot of folks to come out and kind of just see what the sport's about. Trying to get some home matches as well and some local matches that are around, so the friends can come out, the families can come out, and cheer on their kids and cheer on their sons and whatnot. So I'm expecting to see a lot of these kids that were close to making the states last year, making the states this year. Obviously, with Evan having a senior year, we're going to work hard with him to at least get to a point where he can be confident to making the states as well. That's kind of what I think. That's what his goal is. I won't speak for him, but there's a lot of good talent that's on this team, and if we have a bunch of say 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are talented, iron sharpens iron, and we'll continue to grow the program.
All right, good deal. Let's hear it for our wrestling team.